All right, Christine, I think we're live, right?
Yep.
I think we're good. So happy and succeeding, the future of work. Today, Ross Buhrdorf, ZenBusiness. So this is such a cool thing. So for people who are watching this, and a lot are white collar folks, but it runs the gamut. And there's such a built up demand for what could be a side hustle. How can I get another gig? How can I make some extra money? How can I ditch the corporate world and be my own boss? How do I get involved with a startup? So I thought, who better than Ross to share, hey, you can do this and how you can do it and how he can make it easy. So Ross, maybe you could share a little bit about your company, what you do, and then we could kind of talk about how people can kind of free themselves and kind of take a chance and be an entrepreneur.
Well, first of all, Jack, I'm honored to be on your show. And thanks for having me here. I worry that I'm going to be like the Pied Piper of quitting your job. We read about the Great Resignation. I'm afraid I'm going to get a call from someone's significant other. What did you put in this person's head that now they're in their underwear all day in the house working on their side gig? When we started this thing, we saw this trend of people wanting to, get more out of life, get a side hustle going. And the pandemic really accelerated that. I mean, either out of necessity or people were, forced to re-examine what they're doing. And really has accelerated this trend. We've continued to see that. You see it in the press all over, the Great Resignation. Recently, we surveyed our customers and we asked them two questions. The first question was, hey, why'd you take this brave leap into entrepreneurship that's fraught with peril and danger at every turn? And we got three surprising answers. I thought they were remarkable, actually. The first answer was they wanted to change their life. The second answer was they wanted to make more money for themselves and their family. That's an obvious one. And the third one was they wanted to change the world. So, these folks really want to make a difference. And, the pandemic's made everybody re-examine. When you hear our follow-up question, which was, do you believe, because we're a public benefits corporation at ZenBusiness, our mission is to help these folks. We asked them, do you believe that ZenBusiness can help you on their journey? We've got an overwhelming 89.9% of our customer base said, yes, we can help, that ZenBusiness can help us. And that's what we're focused on. You can call us, you can email us, you can text us, you can use our platform, and it's here as that single solution to get your business up and running. We figured out all of the ucky business stuff so that you don't have to worry about it. We've got your back so that you can focus on, and our customers aren't, they aren't, you don't just wake up. I've been doing this for, close to 40 years. I didn't just wake up as an entrepreneur and know everything. On the contrary, I had people that helped me on this journey. And that's what we do at ZenBusiness. We've pulled everything together for, these solopreneurs, these single person businesses to help them get up and running. So they don't have to worry about that. They don't have to worry about getting their formation right, or compliance, or taxes, or invoicing, or what's a merchant account, or which business bank to use. We've got that all worked out, or website. We got that all nailed for them.
So if I could add to this for people who are watching now, and then what we do, Ross, is, we'll edit it, clean up, put it back on social media. So whoever watches in the future, Ross may come across as this nice, humble, Texas coming from Nebraska guy, but he's an entrepreneur who's behind, and a chief technology officer who's been behind some big businesses. So this guy's the real deal. So even though he has that, down home kind of vibe, maybe you could share a little bit. And I should have probably prefaced it this way so they get a sense of, of the companies that you've been involved with, and you've been like tons of mergers and acquisitions. So maybe you could share a little bit about your background too.
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, maybe like a lot of our customers, growing up humble and, without a lot of opportunity makes you hungry. And so I definitely had the, that as a motivator. early on, I was at excite.com, one of the early people at excite.com and the search engine, internet 1.0. Then I was the founding CTO at Homeaway. We raised all this money, $400+ million.
And back then, that's huge. Like now they throw around 400 like it's nothing. But back then, that was monstrous.
Unicorn company, took it public, and then we sold it to Expedia for $3.9 billion. So I went through that ride. And
wait, can I interrupt? So how did that feel? You say it so casually, right? Like, oh yeah, we sold it for 3.9 billion. I'm thinking, holy, this bleak.
Yeah, I mean,
how did that feel? Like
well,
3.9 billion.
Yeah, it felt fantastic. And it also feels fantastic knowing that a lot of those people now work for me at ZenBusiness, that went to Expedia. It also feels great that, Expedia viewed that as one of their best acquisitions. And it's really the whole vacation rental space. We actually created that segment.
Well, because it's Vrbo, right? That was, Vrbo. You started that, right?
Yeah, we started Vrbo.
So what's up with Airbnb?
Well,
stealing your act, damn it.
This is fantastic. This is a great question. So, I hope that my former executives at Homeaway are listening to this, because they're all older than me in age, and maybe they have just a touch bit more experience. But I remember when Airbnb came along and I said, listen, you guys, this company out of San Francisco is going to kill us in this segment. And, our response was, listen, man, we're doing, 100X in bookings. We really got this thing. We created the segment. These guys in the city aren't going to be able to do anything. And I said, this is a classic disruption. They're going after a segment that we're not focused on, and they've got a better product.
Wait, so what was first? So Vrbo wasn't like overnight? It was what, more long-term stays, or how was it different?
No, all of Vrbo is vacations. So think of vacation spots, and Airbnb was all urban. So they really tapped into that segment. And they could do, now here's the silver lining to it. Homeaway, now VRBO, did great. Airbnb's done great. We've got some Airbnb people working for us now. A lot of them have moved to Austin recently. What ZenBusiness now is doing in the formation space is the same thing that Airbnb did in the vacation rental space. We're disrupting this whole segment, this whole market. It is very difficult as the incumbent in the old days, as us being Homeaway, to compete with VRBO, with Airbnb, just because they didn't have all of the legacy that we had to deal with. Same thing in this space. We're the first movers, we're the innovators, we're being able to disrupt with price, product, service, everything. I can tell you it's much better being on this end of the spectrum to be the innovator and the disruptor. And I also think that, Jack, this translates, and I try to bring this, and all the executives at ZenBusiness try to bring this forward to our customers too. These small solopreneur businesses are more competitive than the big folks that they're competing with in their space, right? They've got, if you're a lawn mowing service, or if you're a house cleaning service, or you're a marketing service, or an engineer, programmer, or any of these service-based businesses or e-commerce businesses, you can be more flexible, you can be more nimble, you can really attack your competition from this, this nimbleness point of view. And so the same thing that we're doing in our market, Zen, we want to translate that to our customers also, so that they don't have to worry about all the back office UCI stuff. They call it UCI paperwork.
Is that a sophisticated tech word?
That's what they call it. We literally, we interviewed them. They said, man, I don't want to do the UCI paperwork. I just want to go out and sell my product. And they should be focused on revenue.
It's so interesting because you take a different perspective that I think most people think of. They think, oh, woe is me. I'm the solo entrepreneur. I'm David against Goliath. But what you're saying is like David has a secret weapon. They're nimble. They could fight differently. They can weave in and out. They're not stuck with all the legacy headaches and everybody else who's saying, harumph, harumph. We've done this for 20 years and this is how we do it. No, we don't want anything new. So
or
you have
stuck with the public investors that they
Yeah.
have to respond to the public markets. I mean, the last place you want to be right now is a public company with the market down. I mean, Jack, we've all worked at big companies. I mean, their big companies are there to support their stock price, to continue to have growth. And many of them are there to do good in the world, but many of them have other motives that as a startup and as a solopreneur business, folks are starting new businesses for those three reasons. They want to change their life. They certainly want to make more money, and they want to also change the world. We're here to support them. This is a major trend that's going in this way. I think it's for the better for all of us. And I'm humbled to be part of ZenBusiness, where we can hopefully make a difference, hopefully make a dent, as Steve Jobs says, in the universe in a positive way. And, I feel like all of our employees feel that way. So when someone calls up and they're having a problem, we're there to fix them. It's not like, oh, damn, I got to deal with this customer. It's like, thank God the customer's calling me, I can help them. That's what we're focused on. And that's what we do when we build the products. We want to solve problems. We want to make it easier, because if we can keep these businesses up and running, we do better in the world. We do better for them and their families. And it's better for our business, because if they stay up and running, then they're going to be using our service.
Now, you see thousands of small businesses start up. Are there any ones that jump out at you? You say, wow, these are really cool, fast growing concepts that if somebody has been thinking about starting up a business, having a sideline, a gig, whatever you want to call it, that you would say, hey, here's what I'm seeing, and this is maybe something that could be interesting.
Yeah, Jack, I get that question, and the answer is yes. But let me come back to, if you go and look at the Small Business Administration survey data, you will see our customer base, because our customer base is the small business
across the board, everything, barbershops, nail salons, everything.
So what gets me excited, honestly, is the unsolicited love letters we get from customers like, hey, you gave us one of these $1,000 grants. Prior to that, I was borrowing money from my son to make rent. I used that grant money to get some training. Now I'm doing my own training business and I'm making rent and then some, and I'm headed for a $50,000, $60,000 revenue year with my side business here. That's what gets me excited. It doesn't matter what people do, it's that they're doing it and that it's a service that brings value. So I get excited about restaurants. I get excited about cleaning services, just the regular folks out there making a dent, along with the bigger businesses. I mean, consulting, software businesses, designers are a big deal. Real estate's a big deal. Primarily, our folks are service-based businesses. There's a little bit of e-commerce and a little bit of asset protection, very small amount.
What kind of mentality does someone need to have for it? Is this for everybody, or do you have to have a level of risk taking to do it?
Yeah, I think that it's for everybody. I think everyone can do this. I think what keeps people back is the fear that they can't do that, or the fear of this, I'm going to get in trouble with the state if I do it wrong, or I'm going to mess up my taxes. And we remove all of that. So don't worry, we can handle that for you every step of the way. So I think it's fear and just taking the the first step is what holds people back. I think anyone can do it. I mean, I'm always surprised. We're doing a big Mother's Day promotion here for this Mother's Day, and our thesis or our pitch here is, hey, you know, my mom ran the household. She got everything up and running. If you can do that, you know, starting a business is a piece of cake.
Right? It's nothing compared to taking care of 3 kids, 4 kids. Right?
No, it's nothing. It's a piece of cake. So, you know, we really want to reach out to all of the moms, especially because they've been, you know, unfairly disadvantaged as a result of the pandemic.
See, what do you think about this? It seems, you know, thinking back, the country was founded on kind of small businesses, right? And lately, the narrative, all you hear is that big companies. Like, I don't know where that came from. Like, I remember as a kid, it wasn't like the big companies dominated the conversation. You know, it was smaller, scrappy companies that were changing the world and making a difference, and not these big plotting, you know, organizations. Like, when did that happen? Where it kind of flipped a little bit, where, you know, where you and I think it's coming back to it, where you're kind of trying to celebrate the entrepreneur.
I agree. And I don't know the answer to that. That's an interesting question. You know, when I was a kid, it seemed like there were a bunch of local businesses that you went to and you enjoyed. And I can also remember, you know, being upset when the local hardware store goes out of business because the big box chain has taken them out of business, or the, you know, the local bread shop or the local restaurant or the, you know, local fix-it shop. I think all of that stuff is coming back. I would hope it's coming back. I think that people, you know, I think the question, you know, these answers we got from these folks of changing the world, changing their life. I think people are willing to pay more for local service, for local support. They're willing to pay more for better products and services, and they're just not after, you know, the best price, the lowest cost provider for everything. And I think that, you know, small local businesses, not only can they maybe compete even better on price, but I think they can also compete on service. And, you know, I mean, a lot of these big businesses, they make fabulous amounts of money, but they make fabulous amounts of money because they do it at scale. Yeah. And I'm not sure that that level of scale is the best for the planet or for the workers or for, you know, for all of us.
Well, you're seeing it now for the workers. You have Amazon, you have Starbucks, and other, you know, and what else? What was recently? I think even Apple now, they're trying to unionize, because you're right. It's not, they don't feel that they're being appreciated. And then you feel it when you come into it as a customer, that you can tell they're not happy. So then the experience, picture when you go into a local family restaurant in Austin, and it's a family run, and the, you know, the mom's there, the dad, the kids, the love they share, you know, in terms of their cooking, in terms of interacting, kibitzing with everybody, compared to when you go to just a big chain. That's right. Night and day. Like, you might pay, you probably might even pay less in the small one, but even if you pay more, you feel like, wow, I feel part of this whole thing. That's right. As opposed to just being this like very, you know, cut and dried cookie cutter mold where it's, you know, it's just sterile.
I agree. And I think that's the huge advantage that you have as a smaller business. And I also think, you know, having been an entrepreneur at scale for big businesses, you know, I want to treat my customers the way I want to be treated, and my employees and the team members as the way I want to be treated. And so people, you know, I use my dad, who's now, in his 80s. He used to call me on my cell phone, and he'd say, I called the front desk and nobody answered the damn phone. No one answered the damn phone at your place. You know, you laugh because it's true. It's like, you know, everybody answered the phone at my business. And, you know, I think we're coming around to that. People love us because we answer the phone. We measure answering the phone by the second, and emails and chats. You can get a hold of us. And I think, it's not the world anymore where certainly there are products and services where you will put up with no service because it's not that important. But what we're doing here is important. If you've got a question about your business or how it's being run, or some question about how something you need from us, you should be able to call us and we should be able to answer it. And we do that, and customers love it. We get great feedback. Now, of course, we're not trying to make a business that doesn't scale. We use a lot of technology, and we try to build great products so that they don't have to ask questions. Tony Shea, God rest his soul, was an early investor in us. And one of the things that we learned from him and his team at Zappos was that, you want the customer to experience this high level of support, but you want to use technology so that they don't have to have that support.
I can't tell you how many pitches I get to write about, and I've written about, where exactly what you're talking about, where customer calls in, it goes into this call center, the person who answers the phone, if they answer the phone, doesn't know who the customer is, like, who's Jack, who's Ross? Let me check, hold on. And they switch it to someone else, to someone else, to someone else, to someone else. And it's just horrible. It's just a horrible way of doing it. It completely turns off a customer.
Yep, agreed. And that's why we treat our customer care people as, the number one employees at the company. We're all here in service of them because they're in service of the customers. If we treat them great, Jack, then they treat our customers great. And by the way, they're on the front lines. That's the way we treat our engineers, our designers, everybody. We've all called companies where we know exactly how management treats the employees. It's obvious.
It's so obvious, right?
It's so obvious.
Oh my God, you just feel it. You kind of feel that they're unhappy, they're miserable, they're ordering.
They're trying to exert.
Oh my God.
They're trying to exert their unhappiness on you.
Yes.
Like, let's see what they deal with this. Let me see if I can piss this guy off.
Right. It's you can just even feel it by like coming through the phone. That negative energy that they're giving off.
And that's I hate to say, I know this is self-serving, but I spend a lot of time with our folks, and especially the early folks on onboarding, and they're like, I'm excited to answer the phone here. I'm excited to talk about our product. In fact, we just had a recent woman that joined the crew. She's from New York. We were talking about pizza. She said New York pizza is better than Chicago pizza. I had to agree with her. And she's down in the Carolinas because her dad's down there. And she said, hey, Ross, I had a customer call me the other day, and they said, hey, really, what do you think? What do you think of the company? And I thought that was interesting that a customer was asking her, what do you think of the company? And she said, I honestly came back and I said, this is the best company I've ever worked for. They really treat their customers great. They always make it work. If I was going to start up a business, I'd be using you guys. And that's not in our script anywhere, Jack. We don't say, Tiffany, make damn sure you say this. This is what Tiffany said. And I'm positive that it came across in our conversation. I'm sure it came across when she was talking to our customer.
Right. You can imagine a big company being like, and I would do this too if I, yes, this is the best place to work at. Because it's like almost like a hostage situation by them saying it that way.
And that's the difference where I think that our customer base, they can apply that same mentality. They can apply that same mentality to their customers because that's what they want. Life is short. I want to have good, or as I always say, I want to be able to sleep at night. I want to make the world a better place. And if it comes down to, one of my customer care people is upset about something that we do or a product, or it's not up to snuff, we're going to fix it. Because I don't want our customer care people going, oh, hang on, let me give you this talk about why this is not goofed up or whatever. I want us to all be, honest and square with our customers, because it's just the way you should run a business. And that's why we're seeing this fabulous growth. Customers come to us like, where do these people come from? Well, they're coming from our own customers who are referring us.
Just out of curiosity, how did you feel when you started this? Because you've been, serial entrepreneur, business person. Did you, even though you've been through it, did you have like, those kind of
scared to death? Scared to death. I mean, Jack, I'd spent my career as, I went to school, got a computer science degree at University of Texas. And, I've always been I was founding CTO at Homeaway. And, it's quite a leap to go from CTO to CEO. It's an unusual leap, but, like many of our customers, and I told my lovely wife, who's really the smarts and push behind me, I said, Paula, I don't have anything else to do. I'm going to have to be a CEO. There's nowhere else left to go, because I don't want to be a CTO again. And, so tons of fear. And I think everybody has that. And it's important to acknowledge that. Tons of fear. Can I raise money? Are people going to, follow me? Am I going to make the right decisions? Et cetera, et cetera. And so far, so good. As I tell my existing CTO who worked for me at Homeaway, I said, Alex, you have the worst job in the whole company. The CEO job is way easier than the CTO job, and I support you 100%. What do you need? What can I do to make your job easier? So, I think it's not as hard as you think. And, I always, Jack, I hope you can see this here. I've got this, on my arm here, and I don't know if you can you read that?
Fear is a liar. And that's a permanent tattoo?
That's a permanent tattoo.
Wait, you got another one too? What's the other one?
I got a lot. I got quite a few of them. They're Jedi Knight and all kinds of stuff. But that one I put right there because to remind me and to remind everybody else, fear is a liar. And so I think we fall for it, probably because, when we were on the savannah in Africa, we actually had tigers chasing us. So to have a good fear response was a survival mechanism, but it's not useful anymore.
Yeah, I'm so glad you shared this because, you hear CEOs in interviews and they're all like, they're full of themselves and oh yeah, this is, making it sound like it's easy. But I love the fact that you're human enough to be honest and transparent, which is hard for a lot of people to do, and say, yeah, shit, yeah, I was scared. I was afraid. I was worried. And it takes a lot of guts for someone to say that. And I think that helps a lot of people who watch us, who are entrepreneurs, who say, oh, easy for him to do. No. But in a way, sometimes, tell me this, I think sometimes it's probably harder for you to do because you had a reputation, you've been a business guy for decades. And then if it doesn't work, you have to worry, oh my God, what are people going to remember me? How are my friends going to look at me? How are Right. So it's almost like you have more to lose.
That's right. And I agree with that, Jack. And it's again, fear is a liar. Now, here's the thing, Jack, and it's a test.
But that's a baller move, though. I can't go over that. Just those are big tattoos. Those are
a big tattoo. It's a big ass tattoo. It's important. I will tell you, the CEOs that I appreciate and talk to and get advice from and respect across the board, I ask them, and they all are just like me. Absolutely, I'm scared. Absolutely, I have fear. The difference is that I realize that, there's some of these fears are founded and they're logical.
Right,
And,
right.
and I call those fears, those are the fears that keep you awake at night. I can't sleep. Oh, you know what? I need to do this in order to sleep, and so we can make some changes in the business. We don't ignore those things. We get corrected if there's something needs to be corrected. The fears I'm talking about are the ones that you brought up, which is like, oh, what about my reputation? What about the amount of work I'm going to have to do? What if I don't do it? What if I fail? All of those kind of, I think lying-based fears that we're all up against. Clearly there's no lack of money in the world, Jack. Elon Musk just moved to Austin, and I swear to God, the property value went up 20%. So there's plenty of money out there. There's no lack of that. I think we just have to take that brave leap and, make it happen. My COO at ZenBusiness, Shanaz Ahmadi, and I've worked with her through the four of the last companies, and she is the most competent, detail-oriented, person in the world. We are so lucky to have her. And she says to the company, in the front of the whole company, everybody there, she says, listen, we're all learning. You can ask any questions. No one's getting fired for making a mistake here. Let's just go forward and take the next right step, and we'll work it out. And that's what people need to. That's the way business is run. If anyone's telling you different, they're lying. Now you can once you get big and sophisticated and scale, there's rules, and we have all of that going on, but that's just standard operating procedure. But when you're forging new ground and trying to figure it out, everything kind of works out.
This might sound trippy, but in terms of Zen, and I'm into like Zen Buddhism, so I'm down with that. And is there also this calmness in a way where it's less fear to actually do something than there is to worry and think about it, so that because how many people are scared to do something and that haunts them their whole life, that what if, because they never had the courage to do it. And you feel in a way it's more fearful not to do something, because now you're always going to live with regret. I should have, could have, would have. And it's easy to say, F it, I'm going to do it. Does that make sense?
I'm with you, Jack. And that's why I told my wife, I said, I wasn't going to be a CTO again. It's too difficult. And so the only place I had to go was to be a CEO. And I just took the leap, and, it's worked out so far. I think I'm with you, Jack. Yeah. Now let's not be Pollyannic about it. It's easy for a guy like me this is not entirely true. I'm being a little harsh on myself. There was plenty of time where I had to work because I had to feed the family, and, paycheck to paycheck. Don't get me wrong. And so when you're in that mindset, it's, you have less lofty goals. My goal was, keep the job, get a raise, make the car payment, make the house payment. And at the same time, it's in those times that you also have to, reach for something higher to get out of that trap. And I think everyone, everyone can do that, to move forward. So, in most situations, but I also don't want to be Pollyannic. Some people need more help than others.
Yeah. And speaking of help, you mentioned your wife on a few occasions. Do you think for somebody who wants to try something new and different, it's important to have your family behind you and to have that support at home, because it is going to take a lot of work, a lot of time?
Yeah.
Do you find that's a really helpful?
I think that's super helpful. I think you need your family. I think you need a support network. Here's the thing. I can call up, and I make this a habit, and you can put my email out here on this deal. people send me email all the time. I never, ever blow them off. And you know what's funny? I can send email to some of the most powerful people in the world, and they never, ever blow me off. And I think that's a common trait that as human beings, as good human beings, we want to help each other.
Mhm.
And so I think that if people put themselves out there and ask for help, people want to help you. People want to see other people be successful. You get, you know, you're talking about the Zen and Buddhism. I heard a piece on NPR, and they interviewed this Buddhist monk, and he said, you know, the key to happiness is not taking, the key to happiness is giving. Mm-hmm. And that's been my experience, is the key to happiness is giving. For me, creating jobs, creating you know, commerce and wealth for all of my employees and my investors, being able to spread this word, and, you know, ultimately being able to help my customers. That's all about giving. It's not about taking. We aren't, you know, we definitely want to make a profit, and we're here to make a profit, but that's so we can support the business and everybody that's contributed to this thing. But it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. I think and that's why we're a public benefits corp too. We don't believe it's a zero-sum game.
Just to go back a little bit, when you mentioned Elon Musk, what do you think? Does he kind of epitomize it? Because this guy takes huge risks. Like right now with Twitter, it'd be easy for him to walk away and not be bothered and be beat up in the press and all that. I mean, does he kind of show like, hey, I'm going to take my money out of PayPal? Like, I think any probably normal person, hey, I made a windfall when he was really young with PayPal, probably could have enough money to live on forever then. And said, nope, I'm going to put it into electric cars. Just roll the dice and do it. Is that?
Yeah, I think he absolutely does epitomize that. I also think that one thing that I try to live by, I know it's hard to, is that, you know, it's none of my business what other people think of me. Mm-hmm. You know, I'll say that again. It's none of my business what other people think.
Is that like a superpower, that by doing that, it just frees you up for not caring what people say or think, and you could just do what you do, and that's it?
I mean, I think you have to have you have to have some moral code mm-hmm. that you operate by. You can't be, you know, antisocial, or, you know, you've got to have a moral code. But, you know, short of that, you know, it really isn't. If I worried about what people thought of me, all I'm focused on is what my wife thinks of me, yeah. and what my you know, kids think of me. When we signed up, you know, when I met the president, you know, there was a picture of me with the president. I sent that to my kids, and their first response, Jack, was, "Oh, that's a cutout of the president." They had to actually Google that he was in town and I met the president. I said, finally, I get the respect I deserve.
But there's nothing like family and friends to get you grounded, right? There's nothing like that. If you get a swelled head to bring you down to earth, just like that.
Yeah, there's nothing like kids to keep you, you know, keep you humble. So yeah. My goal, Jack, is to be famous like you, or to be in Hollywood, and then I'll finally get the respect I'm deserved.
So what movie are you gonna play? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, what's the part?
Oh, I don't care, anything.
Yeah,
anything. I mean, you know, Elon's been in a couple movies. He's done pretty good. If I can pull that off, I'm okay.
Really? So okay, I'll keep my eyes open. See if I run into.
Keep your eyes open.
So, hey, so for people, before we head out, so for people, because you mentioned about email, if you want to reach out to ZenBusiness, you know, to Ross, what's the best way for people to reach you?
Ross@zenbusiness.com.
Great.
And then they could always go to the website, and we have tons of support there. You know, I've been on a couple of these podcasts, and the person on the other end of the phone, they're on the other line, they're in there, and they come back and they said, "Oh my God, your company, they're chatting back to me. They're answering my question real time. You know, I'm asking questions." I said, "Good." And they always ask, "Did you set them up to do that?" I said, "Hell, I didn't know you were going to do that." No.
That's great. Anything I didn't ask you that I know you have anything that we missed out that people would want to know, but I think we covered a lot, huh?
We did, Jack. You're great. You're fantastic.
No, my pleasure. Yeah, I have, you know what? You're only good when you have someone to work with. That's a great story. My job is easy. You do all the hard work, but I really love it. I love the fact that, you show that people can do it. You could be afraid, but you could still go and do it. You don't have to jump in all at once. You can dip your toe in the water, still have a job, still look for something. And the fear, you cope just like anything, cope it, overcome it, move forward. And there's just so much opportunity. So I think for a lot of people, this is great advice.
And people want to help. I mean, Jack, you're helping right now. We're helping.
I see. Can I tell you, this is why I love doing this, Ross, because I love bringing, to take a side note, is that we all see it. Like, you watch cable news and everyone's just yelling and screaming at each other. Nothing gets accomplished. You go on social media, everyone's arguing, everyone's fighting. In real life, people are arguing and fighting. And it's ridiculous. And, I speak to people like yourself every day that are doing really cool, awesome things. So I want to, bring that out because I think in our culture, we'd be better off when we have people like yourself who could talk, hey, things are positive. I know, yes, it could be a third world war. Yeah. All right. It probably won't, but it could be. Yeah. But you can't live your life that way. You got to live your life like you have a life and move forward and be happy and motivated. And here's what you could do. And you could take action. And that's the thing too. It's like you get beat. I think there's a drum beat. Ross, you probably see this of just like negativity where you just want to give up, but we need more people like yourself. Like, no, just the opposite. Let's make something happen. Let's build something. Let's build something for your family, for the next generation.
That's
and
right.
I think that message is so important. And oftentimes it's not talked about. So I'm glad when we can have these conversations and guys like you who are serial entrepreneurs and they could show, hey, and I think also is that you come across as a regular nice guy. So if like, people watching, hey, if Ross could do it, I can do it. It gives them, it empowers them to say, I can take that chance. So this is great, man. I appreciate it.
That's more than I could ask for. Thank you so
Excellent.
much, Jack.
Oh, thanks. It was great seeing you. Bye-bye.